This is Dream Investing, and today is February 12th, 2024, and I just want to do some analysis of the market. So, the first in front of me is the US 10 year. Right now, it's basing just below its 4.2 resistance level. We have inflation data coming out tomorrow. If the inflation data shows that inflation is stubborn or is heading higher, look for the US 10 year to break out to the upside. You know, right now the US 10 year is no more in a downtrend line. Downtrend. It's broken its downtrend, which started in November of last year, and now is in a neutral trend. So again, if CPI data is higher than expected, look for this to break out. That will be a headwind for equities. If you also look at the US 10 year, Japanese 10 year spread, you can also see that it's also showing strength. This is also, you can look at it on the weekly. It's basing just above the 150 MA. A positive, again, like I said earlier on, a higher or stronger reading in inflation data will have this spread breaking out to the upside, and that again will pull down equities, especially high beta names and also small caps and names like ARK Invest, those type of names, high risk names with high companies with high risk names, companies with high debt. It would be a move higher in yields is going to be a big headwind for these type of names. So when we also look at the US dollar, we can also see that it's also basing right now. It's also in an uptrend, funny enough. It officially entered an uptrend on Monday, February 5th. It's just basing right now, waiting for inflation data. Stronger inflation data tomorrow is also going to move the dollar higher. So the dollar is something you must keep, on your radar at all times. In fact, I would say this is the most important data point to keep on your radar if you want to be a solid trader. The dollar, a stronger dollar usually is bearish for equities. A weaker dollar is bullish for equities. Also, let's look at the SPX. So today's trade, you have a little bit, okay, started out strong, sold off, ended up red. Again, waiting for inflation data tomorrow. The RSI right now sitting at 74. Let's look at it at the 4-hour chart. It's still an uptrend. So again, it's going to be very risky. Those that are putting on any shorts right now, you're playing with fire. Very risky. It's best to wait for the data and then make your decision after the data comes out, and look at how the market reacts to the data, and then make your decisions based on that. Okay, let's look into 15-minute chart. It's really, again, this is the only thing. Maybe here you can look at it it's basing to down on the 30-minute chart. It's sold off starting at 130, basing. This actually looks very bearish on the shorter time frame. So maybe this might be some smart money, expecting a harder print in inflation data, so they might be preparing for a massive sell-off tomorrow. Okay, let's look at NASDAQ as well, or QQQ. This was weaker. Again, let's look at it on the weekly chart. RSI is sitting at about 73. Again, inflation data is gonna, if it's harder than expected, it's gonna pull this down. If it's cooler than expected, this could trudge higher. Okay, well, let's also look at some individual stocks. SMCI, extremely overbought. And if we have a hotter than expected inflation data, this could march a short-term top in SMCI. On the weekly, the RSI is printing an 89.4. On the daily, the RSI is printing a 93. This is the highest, I think this is the highest RSI that SMCI has probably printed in its history, both on the daily and on the weekly. This is not, okay, on the weekly it's matching its highs. That's on the weekly, June 2023, of 89, 90 area, but on the daily it's the highest it's ever printed. Now this is again not the time to be going long SMCI. And honestly, this, if we, again, as I said earlier on, if we have a hotter than expected print in CPI, this would make for a very good short. Let's look at ARK, another one that could sell off if we have a higher than expected print in CPI data. It's not overbought or anything, you know, it's also in an uptrend. You know, it's an uptrend. It broke the downtrend, you know, with the lower highs based broke it. It's in an uptrend. This is waiting again for inflation data. Okay, let's see, which other name can we look at? Okay, let's look at software. Software is weak, you know, they were selling software today, so I guess those that are selling it are also expecting a higher print in inflation data. But also if you look at IGV, you know, it's hit the highs of November 2021, you know. So yeah, this is not the area to be going long. Honestly, a lot of these charts are pointing to the fact that we're probably very near a pullback in equities, you know. Me personally, I am short-term bearish, longer term still bullish, because we're still in a rate, I believe we're soon going to enter a rate cutting environment. You know, the Fed has talked about how they're going to cut rates this year. They already said they are going to do so. The matter is no more if, it's when. So any pullbacks in equities is going to be a good time for you to go long solid names. But again, yeah, IGV's hit the top. This is a big double top right now. A nice pullback is expected. Let's see, you know, if we get, again, if the inflation data is hotter than expected, like I said, the 50 MA is the first major resistance level. That's 410, 410 area. That'll probably be a good area to go long, you know. Let me go back to QQQ2 as well. If the inflation data is higher than expected, the 50 MA is probably going to be a nice area to go long, you know. Of course, it's probably going to hit high, maybe around even that 4. Yeah, 50 MA is going to continue to head higher, so maybe the 416 area. You know, this would be a good spot to go long if we pull back. I'm expecting a pullback, but I don't expect a strong pullback. You know, it's just going to be very shallow. You know, some people are expecting a crash. You hear people calling for crashes and whatnot, but I'm not expecting any of that. I think we get a small pullback, and that'll be a time to load in on solid names for a continued move higher. Let's look at, what else can I look at? Okay, let's see. What is gold saying? Gold is weak as well. You know, this is a weak chart, you know. So gold traders are probably expecting a move higher in the dollar and yields. You know, if the dollar and the yields move higher, gold's gonna move to the downside, you know. So maybe those trading gold might be expecting a hotter print in inflation data. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is showing a lot of strength, you know. So it's not looking like Bitcoin traders are even expecting a hotter print in inflation data. You know, it's broken its this pivot point, January 11 pivot point, to make new highs for the year. In fact, for the past 2 years, it's new highs since 2023. This is new highs, you know. But if we have, again, hotter than expected inflation data, and yields and the dollar continue to head higher, yeah, look for Bitcoin to pull back. You know, it's not out of the realm that we could give back a lot of these short-term gains we've had these couple days. Maybe even heading back to the 40,000 area is very likely. And if that happens, MSTR will be a good short, you know. That's probably one that's going to be a good short. Let's see. Let's see Coinbase as well. Okay, Coinbase has earnings, so you probably don't want to play that at all. But MSTR is going to be a good one, a good proxy to play if inflation data is harder than expected. Because like I said earlier on, if it's harder than expected, expect Bitcoin to pull back because the US dollar and the US 10-year are going to head higher. MSTR will be a good short. It will be a good way to make some money, you know. Let's see. But for now, me personally, I'm majority in cash. You know, I only have one position, short position in C3 AI. You know, a small put, February 16th expiry, $28. I think I spent about what 20 cents on it. You know, we'll see if inflation data is closer than expected and the market heads up, I don't mind losing it. But if it's harder than expected, I expect C3 AI to pull back. You know, and I could make some good money. That February 16th, $28 expiry that I bought for about 20 cents will make some good money. Okay, well, that's it. If you like this, then please subscribe and like this video.